Today, we're going to pack up the Jacksonville Jaguars and fly them all the way to London. But before we get into that, less than 1% of people who watch my videos are subscribed. So if you could do me a huge favor and go down below and hit that sub button, it would mean the world to me. And also, let's try to get this video to 20 likes and let me know down in the comments below what kind of rebuilds you want me to do next. Let's get into the video. It's the year 2027 and Sir Bigham's decided to buy the Jacksonville Jaguars and move them to London. And this is what the team is looking like. And so the purpose of this video is to rebuild them in London because there was some talks about them moving to London earlier on, but instead they were just building a new stadium for them. So I'm going to rearrange this team a little bit and then I'll show you what they look like afterwards. Nothing changed on the offense, but the defense, I'm going to be moving it to a 4-3 just because it plays better in Madden, and I feel like, you know, Trayvon Walker is going to be a better edge rusher than he is going to be an outside linebacker. So let's see how we do in year number 1 in London. We go 13-4 and make the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence throws for 4,700 yards, 45 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. Travis Etienne has over 1,000 yards rushing and only 4 touchdowns, but Kareem Hunt has 14 rushing touchdowns. Evan Ingram was a big part of our offense, having 1,200 yards for 13 touchdowns, and Christian Kirk right behind him with 1,215 touchdowns. And just like I said, Trayvon Walker had an amazing season at a left end. He put up 19.5 sacks. He wasn't able to win Defensive Player of the Year though. He comes in about 3rd. But let's see if we're able to beat the New York Jets to make it to the divisional round. They're only 9-8. They look very beatable, and we do. We beat them 22-10, and now we get to go against the 10-7 Cleveland Browns to make it to the AFC Championship, but we lose 21-10. There wasn't anyone important in re-signings, so we're just going to skip to free agency, where it doesn't really look like there's anyone that I want here anyway. But it's always nice to look around. I think we may offer on Jalen Carter. He's only normal development, and he's 27 overall, or 27 years old, 84 overall. I mean, he's going to be a good player, but he's not going to be the best, obviously. We could try to get this center and, you know, fill out our offensive line. He wants to be here in London, so I think that'd be really good for us. Sadly, it's going to suck because if they want to be close to home, the fact that we are in London kind of makes it pretty difficult to sign players that want to be close to home. But he does look like he wants to sign with us. And we do need to get a kicker and a punter because that was one thing that I saw in the free agent re-signings, but I never signed them through that way anyway. So we're going to go with a young guy, and hopefully we can get him. There's not that many young people here. We'll go with Logan Massey. We'll give him a 3-year deal so we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the rebuild. We're going to send everything through, and we're just going to hope and pray that we get everyone we were looking for. We get Jalen Carter, Tucker Lewis, and Jake Elliott. We're just going to send it through a couple times, see if we get the punter. If we don't, we could get one in the draft, and he does sign with us, so we get everyone that we were looking for. So here in the draft, I have a couple players I want to go after, and I'm thinking I want to do something like Saxonville and recreate Saxonville in London. And I think it'd be kind of cool to, you know, bring that back. So we have to trade up with this pick, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. And we're going to have to trade up to somewhere around 9 or 10. So we're probably going to have to trade with the Bears. I saw they had 9, but I want to see if we're able to get a little bit more value for it. I think the Dolphins might be a good person to trade with. It's kind of close, but not really. I think if we threw in a 3rd for next year, I think we may be able to get it. And it's not looking too good with that. If we throw in a 3rd for this year and next year, it's close, but no cigar just yet. I don't really want to give up our 2nd because I have someone in mind for that pick. But if I threw a 3rd in for this year and a 2nd for next year, it looks like we do have a deal done with the Dolphins. And we're going to skip to that pick, and then I'll show you the player who I want to get. And this is going to be, and he goes in the pick in front of us. That is crazy. That's just insane to me. So we do need to get a middle linebacker. And he went in the pick in front of us, which sucks because I was going to trade up to 9. But we can still get a really good player from this. and I think it's going to have to be a D tackle. And I think out of all the people, I think Matthew Thomas is going to be our pick here. 91 strength, hidden development, very, very good for us. It sucks that we traded up for the player that we didn't want, but in the end, maybe it'll work out. Maybe this guy's better than the other one.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the
I
clock.
scouted him and I knew what he could do. So I think he's going to be really good for whatever team he plays with. Wish it was this team, but next guy I want to go after is Jimmy Yates. He is just a solid corner, A press and B zone. C man coverage though, but does have 90 speed with hidden development. A very good addition to this team. And then we're going to skip to the 4th round. And I do have a player in mind. He was projected to be a
Jacksonville Jaguars.
like 6th round pick or something like that. And he's a right outside linebacker. And his name is Braden Grent. And it looks like he's already gone. So apparently this thing lied and he's not here. But let's take a look to make sure that I'm not just tripping. And yeah, no, it doesn't look like he's here anymore, which really sucks because he looked like he was going to be really good. So, So he went before us. So that just kind of, leads it down to just grabbing a random guy. So that sucks. We're not going to be able to get him. Maybe I'll try to trade for him. But he did look decent. So that probably won't happen. So let's go take a look at the team. This draft class was loaded. This was the guy I wanted to get in the 4th. But the Panthers took him at 4 pick 8. And then this is the guy I wanted to get at pick number 12. But he went at pick number 11. He's also a stud. But I think we got 2 really good players with our picks. So let me show you them. So this is the defensive tackle that we got. He's a 75 overall, playing up to a 77. And then it shows his dev trade already, sadly. But Yates is a superstar development corner who I think is going to be a very, very good part of this team. I think we're creating Jacksonville again, and I'm really liking that. So let's see what we're able to do in year number 2 of this rebuild. We go 10-7, and Trevor Lawrence throws for 4,700 yards, 39 touchdowns to only 13 interceptions. Travis Etienne puts up 1,000 yards for 10 touchdowns. And once again, Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram are leading the team with about 1,200 yards, and both have 10 touchdowns. Trayvon Walker has another good season, putting up 13.5 sacks. But let's see if we're able to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. They are 11-6, but they are a very hard team to beat in simulation, and we do. We beat them 35-16. And now we're going against the Indianapolis Colts, who are in our division, and we beat them 34-31. And we go against the 10-7 Raiders in this one, and we lose 31-24. So sadly, we can't make the playoffs, we can't make the Super Bowl in year number 2. In player negotiations, we have to negotiate with Devin Lloyd, Jerome Spriggs, Mark McAllister, and a couple other guys. We really do need to try to keep this core team around. It's going to be kind of difficult because, 3 years into the future, and it's kind of, a lot of these guys are on the older side. Jerome Spriggs, or Springs, could be a good receiver for us in the future. I think we're going to give him a player-friendly deal. I kind of want to build a powerhouse defense where the offense can kind of be bad. But obviously, before we can do that, we're going to need to have a good offense because you got to win games. But we're going to give this guy a 4-year deal. Other than that, I don't know if there's any other players here I'm going to try to keep. And if I do think about keeping them, I think it's going to be easier for me to keep them in free agency because some of these guys just don't want to be here, and I'm not franchise tagging a 30-year-old. And in free agency, I want to go out and spend some money. So I think getting Dexter Lawrence, who is still a 99 overall at the age of 31, is going to be a very big piece to this team. I think you pair him and, Jalen Carter up, and you just got yourself a powerhouse team who's going to win games for you. Easy peasy. So we're going to give him a really, really good contract, and we are leading on him. Amon-Ra St. Brown is another guy that I think would be good for this team. We get ourselves a superstar receiver in him, and I think we can do wonders with Trevor Lawrence. Patrick Mahomes is here. We already have Trevor Lawrence, so it doesn't make sense to get him. But it does make sense to bolster our offensive line. I do want to make Jacksonville once again. Devin Lloyd wants to be here. I think if we give him a player-friendly deal, he'll think about coming here instead of the other places he could go. And we are winning on him. Charles Cross is here, and Brandon Smith. I can't read. But we're going to go for Charles Cross, a very, very good option for our offensive line, kind of bolster that to make it as good as possible. We have one other place we can spend our money, and Rodney Thorpe is going to help us become Jacksonville. I'm going to give him a very player-friendly deal. We're going to go down to damn near no money, but it's going to be much worth it when we have that Lombardi in our hands. The offers are submitted. We get Dexter Lawrence, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Devin Lloyd. And right now, it looks like we weren't able to get... was there anyone else I'm going after? Charles Cross, correct. We are going after him. Let's give him... Oh. Can I take the money down a little bit? And maybe be able to still get you? Question mark? Charles Cross, we are not winning on him. We're going to withdraw the offer, and then we are going to try to put it in. We can do a very player-friendly deal with that and see if we're able to get him for the long run. We are leading on him, and it looks like we're still leading on Thorpe. And if we go to my signings, we get all two of those guys. So let's take a look at our team before the draft. So in the draft, I think we're going to need to look for a right guard. We're also going to need to try to get a backup halfback. But defensively, we're looking pretty sound. I would probably say we need to get a strong safety if possible. But we may just use our picks and trade for players because this isn't really a realistic, rebuild. This is more, let's build the best team possible. So I think that's what we're going to do. We are sending a 3rd round pick for this year, a 2nd for next year, and a 5th for this year to the Bills for their right guard, who is an 84 overall. And to try to make it more realistic to Jacksonville, we're going to try to throw in Jamal Adams, and we do get him from the Rams. We are sending a 1st and 3rd round pick for next year and a 4th for this year for a left outside linebacker with superstar X factor. And now when you look at our defense, you see talent everywhere you look, and our offense is the exact same way. So let's simulate to the end of year number 3 and see if we're able to bring London a Super Bowl. We are able to make the playoffs going 12-5. Trevor Lawrence almost throws for 5,000 yards and 34 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. Travis Etienne has another solid season going for over 1,000 yards to 9 touchdowns, but Timmy Thomas has over 15 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown was definitely the answer we were looking for on offense, as he goes for 1,600 yards to 15 touchdowns, and Evan Ingram has 1,200 yards for 6 touchdowns. Jacksonville is back, as we had over 2 people with 10 sacks, and Dexter Lawrence, who almost got 10 himself. But let's see if we can beat the Houston Texans to make it to the divisional round. They look very beatable. They're only like 8-7, and we beat them 38-14. Let's see if we're able to knock Patrick Mahomes out of the playoffs, and this would be a very, very big win for us. We can make it to the conference championship yet again, and we beat them 35-17. Now let's find out if we put together a super team and see if we can beat Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns. And it looks like we can. We barely beat them 21-20. And it looks like we're going to be going against the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. So let's find out if we're able to beat the Giants in the Super Bowl to bring London a Super Bowl. And it looks like we do 38-31. And we finally were able to bring London a Super Bowl. And it looks like Trevor Lawrence was the MVP. And he finally got himself a Super Bowl win, and Amon-Ra St. Brown won Offensive Player of the Year. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also let me know down in the comments below what other rebuilds you want me to do, and also make sure to like and subscribe for more football content. Peace.